Welcome to That's What She Said, presented by CMU Health, where we spill the tea on women empowerment in the Great Lakes Bay region with your host, Christiana Malacara.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to That's What She Said with me, Christiana Malacara. Well, you know what? Kind of with me. I have a special guest host today, and I'm going to dive into that in just a second. But yes, thank you for tuning in this week, any week, every week, last week, next week, because That's What She Said is just this. It's a vessel of just knowledge and empowerment and just sharing storytelling and all of those wonderful things that women of the Great Lakes Bay region bring to the show, bring to That's What She Said. Before we jump into the show, let me just share the many ways that you can listen and tune into That's What She Said. So, as always, on social media. So if you see our faces, it is most likely Thursday at 1:30, Facebook, YouTube, anywhere that has an @ right? You can find That's What She Said with Christiana Malacara. Then always on the airwaves, which is one of my favorite ways to listen, just that authenticity of turning on a radio, or at WSGW.com. So 100.5 Saturday morning at 8 a.m. or Sunday evening at 6. That good reset over the weekend, and that just propels you into the next week. And then anywhere 24/7 where you tune in to your favorite podcast platform. And hopefully That's What She Said is one of your favorites. And you can leave us maybe, a 5-star review, or tell us how we can improve with, the new season coming up. So yes. And I have to just plug this in for time reference. We are moving into the new season of That's What She Said, season 3, which is just a mind-blowing, to be honest with you. There's the time and the efforts and the energy and just the love and passion that has been poured in through myself and producer Jonathan Dent into That's What She Said. But not just us, but all of us here at Connoisseur Media and the community and beyond. So I'm going to skip my monologue session today, and we are going to jump right into it because, surprise, surprise, we're ending the year with me as the guest. I do feel like I'm a bit in the hot seat because we have an amazing woman here to interview me, to kind of, open the book of Christiana, and we can move through that chapter through chapter. I don't know what she has. She told me to relax, and then I got nervous, but now we're here. Miss Erin Patrice. Hi, Erin.
Hey, Christiana, how are you?
I'm doing okay.
Are you excited?
I'm excited.
You should be very excited because you got me outside the house in the winter. This is a special guest appearance because I stay in, I hibernate. So I'm happy to be here with you today. So thanks for having me.
No, I appreciate you being a woman that's in the circle of That's What She Said.
Yeah.
A woman in the region and my friend. We lean on each other in amazing ways because we're both so forward facing.
Yes.
But for those of us who are listening right now, how might the community know you?
So again, I'm Erin Patrice. I am the heart behind. Wow, it's just crazy to say it because we've been 5 years and I just have been kind of reflecting on this year, but I am the heart behind the Breaking Bread Village. And we've just been doing so much lately, and this is my kind of reset time. So people don't see me, haven't seen me a lot in the last couple of months. But yeah, that's probably how people will see me and know me is through the Breaking Bread Village and then the Heart of Leadership also. So yeah.
That's great.
But that's enough about me.
Oh, okay.
Yes. We are not here to talk about me. We are here to get to know you a little bit. But first, for people who may not know you, right? People may be their first time kind of tuning in. How might people know you in the community?
Awesome. Okay. Oh, wow. Well, good thing we have almost an hour to talk about it.
Yeah.
Well, I am the creator and host of That's What She Said, which is, we're talking about heartbeat. This That's What She Said is my heartbeat. It was something that didn't exist, and then we brought it into existence.
Yeah.
I'm also a news reporter at WSGW, which I was first before coming on and launching That's What She Said. I also work for PBS, Delta College Broadcasting. I'm the host and producer for a segment called Somos Hispanos, where we just again pouring empowerment into the community, the Latino Hispanic community there, and that's on social media and on their website, Delta College Broadcasting. And then I do a lot of volunteerism.
Yeah.
I believe that chambers and chambers of commerce are a great resource, and young professional development is really important to me. So I'm a member of the Saginaw, the Bay Area, and then the Midland Business Alliance. I was the former chair for Lead Saginaw. It's a Latino nonprofit in Saginaw County. But most recently, I actually joined the board for the Saginaw Community Foundation. And then right before the holiday, I joined the board trustees for the YWCA.
Awesome.
So I have my hands in many pots, but my favorite place to be is home with my kiddos. They're back to that heartbeat, right?
Yeah,
I got two little ones, my family at home, and a little bit of everywhere.
Awesome. Yeah, you are in all the places. And and I love all that stuff, but I love to get to know people on a deeper level, right? I mean, we have our titles, we have our things, we're all in stuff, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes people don't really know the person, right? We only know kind of what we see. And so it's so good to be able to get here and kind of talk to you about who you are. Who is Christiana?
Oh my
So
gosh.
let's get started. First, I wanted to kind of ask you, what even made you start That's What She Said? Like, what was the fuel behind that?
Yeah. No, that's a good question. And I get asked that a lot. By guests mainly, like what started this.
Yeah.
And it's not, it was, and I'll say it wasn't a dream.
Yeah.
It wasn't, oh, I'm going to grow up one day and be this person. Right. It was an idea. And, like I said, I started out as a news reporter, and I still am for WSGW. And I was out just doing interviews in what we call the field, out in the community. And I saw a lot of women just making it happen. They were, running these organizations, running volunteers. They were creating businesses. They were the PR who had all the information.
Yeah.
And then I would, people tell me things, as you know, people just open up. I don't know, I must have that face. And then they would share, on top of what they did for work or whatever that might be, that event that they, poured themselves into. Then they would share that they are the caregiver to their parents, or they battled something that nobody else knew, or they had a grocery list and still needed to get all the supplies for the field trip. And they were just really making it happen.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, we as women, we're all just at some point like in our own silos, in our own head. And when they would give me these little, pieces of information, I thought, wow, like you're doing all of this plus that. Let's highlight that, because you're amazing in the way that you do what you do. You're amazing. So, I summed that all up into a few words, and I told Jonathan Dent, and I said, hey, I think this would be like a really good idea. And he's like, okay, well, let's do it. So start a pilot. Let's do it. And it took me a couple months to kind of just muster up the energy and the, almost imposter syndrome. Like, I don't know, I'm just the new girl, the news reporter. This isn't the field that I even studied.
Yeah.
And then, I always advocate for, if, these people who are in rooms that you're not, and they speak highly of you, or they speak of you in a good manner. And Jonathan did that. He did that. And we're here, moving into season 3. We have, I personally have talked to women, all walks of life, over 100 hours of just conversation on and off the mic. And midsummer we'll reach our 100th interview. So it just started out with an idea. But taking action was, the hardest step.
Yeah, that action piece is so important, but the ideas are even better, right?
Yeah.
To be able to dream and visualize, and to have people around you that support you and believe in you is amazing. So you talk about the other women, right? And the inspirations that they've kind of placed into you to be able to even start this, or even when you were out in the field. Tell me something when you were younger, right? Younger Christiana. I mean, I know all of our lives were not perfect.
Yeah.
There are things that happened that kind of shaped us into who we are today. Do you have anything that happened to you or kind of that you experienced or saw as a young person that kind of inspired you to just reach higher? Because you are in all the spaces, doing all the things, helping so many people. And I know from personally, sometimes it's things that maybe I didn't have when I was younger, right? The support I didn't have, or I don't know, just the community. And so was there anything in your life that you can reflect on that says, you know what, this really kind of made me into who I am today?
I can't think of anything as a child.
Sure.
And I'm sure there's maybe someone out there who's going to like diagnose me, which is fine. Send me a DM when you get it.
Yeah.
And, but a lot of my childhood is like bits and pieces.
Yeah.
And I know there's always, like I said, we've talked to a lot of people, and there's people out there that like, oh, I remember this one point when I was 6 years old and this thing happened and it was clear as day. Those clear as day memories don't really start for me until like middle school or late middle school, even high school.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things where I can pinpoint in middle school, I realized that I was a Latina. I didn't know color. My parents raised me just as you're a human and these are other humans and be kind.
Yeah.
And at late middle school, I realized that I was Mexican. So that's something that kind of always stuck with me that I didn't know. And people outside of my family made me aware in not the most positive ways. And then
were you you in a predominantly certain demographic to where you or did you just kind of blend in?
No, it just wasn't a thought.
Gotcha.
It wasn't in my thought, in my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
I didn't need to, say like, I'm sitting, in my classroom of, fourth graders and she's black and he's white.
Sure.
I never needed to know that.
Yeah.
It was, this is my friend who plays soccer and this is my friend who, we can giggle and pass notes together. Right. So I never needed to know that. And so a distinctive moment in my life is when I realized that I was different and that I had this almost subculture, which I later figured out was, me being a Mexican American and me being Latina, me being, Hispanic. So that later in life, I think identity is something that always stuck with me. And then if we jump all the way until high school, there was a moment that in my freshman year where my family's dynamic shifted. My dad was in a very bad car accident early on, and it just shifted, the family dynamics, right? And so early on in high school, I had to almost like step up and say, okay, well, how can I help? And it wasn't me being helpful. It was me not causing problems, was me being helpful. So that was another thing where I can pinpoint and say like that's something that shaped me. But it wasn't until college where I left the Great Lakes Bay region, and I came back, guys. So don't worry, I'm here. And I left, and then I realized that there's so much more outside of the bubble that I grew up in.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of things through, typical college experience, but then also staying on the west side of the state for a good chunk of time, and letting those people and the culture that wasn't my own shape me. So there's a whole like domino effect of things that I can, put my finger on, but not any one specific person or one specific, being I can rely that, and pin that on. Exactly.
Yeah. Just those experiences, right? I mean, that happens, right? We have this piece that creates us, right? And so thanks for sharing that. So I want to ask you too, as far as the work that you do now with That's What She Said, you have to talk to so many different people across the spectrum, right?
Yeah.
We know, and I promise I will not get political at all. I promise. But we know there's a lot happening in our political sphere right now. How do you welcome people in that you may feel different from, right? You have strong views that are different. How do you kind of balance that?
Yeah. No, and I'm going to say the thing. That's a great question, Erin. Empathy.
Yeah.
Empathy.
Yeah.
It's something that, and now that we're talking about this, maybe growing up, let's say, quote, air quote, colorblind.
Yeah.
I didn't see people for what was on the exterior. I, a few things when I meet someone, I never judge that person, one, off their appearance, but I never judge that person off of something that I might have heard from somebody else. Like,
Yes.
I am very big on, I'm going to form my own opinion. Even if I choose to form an opinion, there's some situations that I'm like, they exist and I exist, and I don't need to have an opinion on this thing, or, whatever that topic might be, or even that person. We can exist in the same space. And I don't need to have an opinion. I'm happy you're living your life, and I'm happy I'm living mine. But yeah, that's what she said. We talk to women, the saying is from student to CEO. We talk to everyone in between. It could be a stay-at-home mom, a barista, a doctor, whatever, that person, that woman is navigating in her life. But empathy, whatever challenges they have, or, need to overcome, either we went through it, we know somebody that went through it, or we're going to go through it.
Yeah.
So just approaching it with, an honest and genuine, ears open, eyes open, and mouth shut.
Yeah. No, that's so true. So true. When you first created That's What She Said, what made you focus just on women, right? Why did you not just kind of bring everybody to the table, right? What made you focus on women? Why do you think it's so important for the females' experiences to be shared? What caused that?
I think because we're so busy.
Yeah, which is going to be my next question, balance, right, for you. But yes, tell me.
Yeah, when I was doing these interviews, out in the field, right? Let's go back. I'm a news reporter out in the field. And I'm like, man, like, these women really know what's up. Like, they know the details. They know the who, what, when, where, why. But backtrack, and I didn't say this, but I will now, is sometimes I interviewed the guy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, I have a question. And then they didn't have the answer.
Yeah.
And more times than 5, I was being directed to, well, let me give you her phone number, or here's her email address, or actually, let me go grab her. She has the answer to that question. And it kept just getting like repivoted. And I was like, all right, I know who's doing the work. And it just was one of those things where it's like, I want to, and we say this in the Latino community and maybe across the board of minorities, when you're talking to someone who reflects you and you can mirror that person, like looking and identifying with them.
Yeah.
The advice is taken a little bit better.
Yeah.
Right. So if I'm talking to a woman and I want to share their story, another woman, that third party, may receive that information better because it's coming from someone who looks like them, feels like them, can identify with them. And so that's why I targeted, was like, let's just talk to all the ladies of the region twice.
Yeah. No, I love that. So, wow. I just think it's so cool, because I know sometimes people want everybody at all the things, right? But I love that you focus in on women, right? And the work that we do in the community, and also uplifting. You inspire so many people. And I think it's been really cool too, because I'm sure some of the people that have come here and shared stories probably never shared it before, right? It's something that they, how that goes. Yeah.
100%. 100%. And, we sit in this room, and when the cameras turn off and the mics turn off and they stand up, and, sometimes they sit down and take a breath and take a deep breath.
Yeah.
Sometimes they sit here and then they, I always have tissues. They grab the tissue box and they release, right? Sometimes they sit here and they're just like, oh my gosh, I did not think it was going to go that way. But there's a sense of release when you're talking to someone. And I feel absolutely blessed that I have had so many amazing conversations where women feel and know that I'm a safe person to talk to. We're in a safe space, and they share their entire story. They probably came in here lots of times. I know it. They come in with like a little bit of a wall. And one of my questions before we hop on air, I usually ask, is there something that you do not feel comfortable talking about? And every once in a while, we get someone who'll say, yes, XYZ, I don't want to talk about this. And so we navigate around that. Most of the time, people say, I'm an open book. But even open book or, off guard, off limits in some conversations. Uh, more times people are like, I didn't think I was going to say all of that.
Yeah.
And it felt good to say it.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's a testament to you too. I mean, we have to be able to create that space for people, right? And I think that you do a good job of creating spaces for people to come in and say, you know what, I could be myself. I could be my authentic self. I don't have to pretend. I could just be, right? And I think that is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, I want ladies to feel comfortable. Even, sometimes I meet with them outside of the studio. There's so many coffee dates that I've had before we even get into a conversation with a microphone in the room.
Yes.
Because it's so important for me to have women feel comfortable. And I'm excited to close out season 2 in this way. So I think gosh, there's so much more to come, and I'm just excited for the next season to come. But I'm going to close out this first half.
Sure. Yes.
Okay. So you are tuned into That's What She Said with me, Christiana Malacara, who is not the host today. That is my dear friend, Erin Patrice. So come back for the second half of That's What She Said, and maybe I'll spill some more tea on women empowerment.
That's What She Said is presented by CMU Health, encouraging safe sleep practices for moms and infants in partnership with Be Well Saginaw. Learn more at bewellsaginaw.org/safe sleep campaign. That's What She Said with Christiana Malacara is back. Now let's spill the tea.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to That's What She Said with me, Christiana Malacara. But you know what? I'm not your host today, which is kind of a little strange. I'm in the hot seat today as my dear friend Erin Patrice is the host. So I guess for today, it's That's What She Said with Erin Patrice. I am super excited that you're here, Erin, and you and I are having this experience. This is new for me.
Yes.
So thank you.
Of course. Thanks for having me. I'm truly honored to be here and to be able to kind of learn a little bit more about you, and also for you to share yourself with the people, right? So yes. So my question for you is, what's the challenge, right? I mean, because oftentimes I know people have this new thing of like this toxic positivity, and I get what that all means. But for me, I love being positive. I love being optimistic, but I also understand that life is not always like that, right? And so what are some challenges that you face in regards to kind of doing this? And I know you kind of talked about imposter syndrome, right? That's a real thing where you know you can do it, but you're like, can I do this? Do I want to do it? Right? Is it worth it? Right? Is it worth the energy, the time? But I want you to talk about some challenges you've had, not only just within this sphere, but just in general as being the person that you are out in the public, doing what you do. Have you had any challenges or things you kind of had to overcome?
Yeah. There, if we're gonna go this route,
let's go.
I might as well just spill the tea.
Yes. Yeah.
So with That's What She Said, there's, those natural challenges, right? You and I, we talk to people, we put them behind a microphone. There's natural challenges to that maybe, the general public won't identify with, but scheduling people, meeting them, getting, like we said, getting them comfortable,
and personalities.
If I can
say that.
Yes. So everyone has just this amazing spectrum of personalities, but how is that going to convey on a microphone? Is this conversation going to be helpful or hindering? Where are we taking this, right?
Sure,
So those are those natural, I guess, behind the mic challenges. I have been just like in awe that almost here we are going into season 3. I've only had 2 women kind of just like need to reschedule. Everybody else is just, I'm doing this. Thank you. It's such an honor. I appreciate you. I've been waiting to be asked. Thank you so much. Like all of these things.
Yeah.
But then that comes with balance too, right? and that's what she said, we interview from student to CEO, everybody in between. So making sure that I'm having an equal balance of, is this a friend? Is this a stranger? Is this, a woman from this region, this background, that background, this career, that career, this trial and tribulation, this trial and tribulation. Is this a friend? Is this a stranger? Some of the conversations that I have across the mic, across the table in the mic is completely raw. That woman walked in 10 minutes before the mics turned on, and I don't know her. Yeah. That can sometimes be a challenge, but vice versa. I've had, some of my friends from high school who are just doing amazing things in the community, come through and sit with me, and that's what she said. And then sometimes that's a challenge because I know them too well. So learning and figuring out what that balance is, especially since I don't have any type of journalism or broadcasting professional background. We're all going off lived experiences here.
Sure. Yeah.
So that's a challenge. But out in the community, as that's what she said, girl, right? It's fun. I recently am getting asked to autograph things, which is a ridiculous feeling. And it's I've autographed hockey pucks and little flyers and things like that. So it feels unreal.
Yeah.
So there's definitely that that glimmer of imposter syndrome there. What am I doing?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to talk to all the ladies and make them as comfortable sharing their story as possible. Yeah. But what is the bigger picture? What am I doing?
So how do you do it? That's the thing is that, and I think that it's so important for us to share those parts of this work, right? Because people only get to experience the finished product, right? They get to see what kind of is produced, and they don't see all the back stuff, right? Where if you have a sick child or you have to balance some things at home. So how do you personally show up every day, right? With the positivity and the smile, which we know sometimes, you're smiling on the outside, but on the inside, it's total chaos going on, right? Yes. So how do you do it? And how can we kind of give a message to other ladies, right? How to keep showing up? Because when you have an idea, it becomes a mission for you, right? Because this is an extension of you, right? I feel the same way with my work, right? It's an extension. And so some days you can feel like, I don't want to be there, but I know I need to be there, right? Because, and you cannot want to be there for various reasons, right? You can have a headache, whatever it is. So how do you keep doing it? And what can you kind of share with other ladies to keep showing up, especially if you think that you're on a mission for greater good? Yeah.
Yeah. And there's definitely been those moments. I've walked in and I've had to tell Jonathan, hey man, I got a little bit of a headache. I dragged myself in. And so there's transparency with your team,
sure,
right?
Sure.
If your team is your family, your friends, your children, your mother, your producer of your show, transparency. I did a whole show with one contact in once. It was the craziest feeling to look across and not see completely, but my contact fell out mid-show, right? So there's those hurdles of showing up, right? In high school, my uncle had told me this quote, and it was, do what you need to do today so you can do what you want to do tomorrow. But then he added to it and he's like, but tomorrow might not come. And so just make decisions based off of joy. And with that, it's just, there's things that I have to do and there's things that I want to do, and then balancing those throughout the day. Right. So something that I do is during the week, I work towards what's existing, right? I do my job. I work towards what's existing right here in front of me. Come Friday through Monday morning, I'm working on things that will propel me to a better me. So yes, during that weekend time, hanging out with my kids propels me to a better me, right? Deep cleaning my house. It's going to propel me to a better me because I feel better.
Will you come to my house and do it so you can propel me to a better me?
I don't know about that. Okay. But then we have this, I stay up late.
Yeah.
I stay up late and I pull out my computer or I take down notes. I research constantly. From midday Friday to Monday morning, I'm working on things that make the tomorrow better, things that are for the future. But I have to keep in the back of my mind, tomorrow's not promised. So you have to have moments of joy throughout that. And, there's, we talk about it here, and that's what she said about women who struggle separating their job, their organization from who they are.
Sure.
And the balance of that. Then there's finding the balance of, if you're a mother, right? So you identify as a mother, but then are you identifying as an individual? You're a wife, then you have to identify as yourself outside of that relationship. So finding balance is tip one. Find what brings you joy and do that.
Yeah.
Finding balance is knowing that balance can shift in every chapter of your life. Maybe in one chapter, I have a strong balance with my spouse. And then we needed to both shift and to navigate into a different type of balance where the balance was heavy on children, right? Or maybe that balance might be with, your career, or, maybe going into higher education, whatever that might be. But tip 2 would be knowing that your balance can shift and being okay with that. And then tip 3 is transparency.
Yeah.
With yourself and the people that are in your circle. Because I know I've had some lows, and I wouldn't have gotten out of them without sharing them.
Yes. Yeah.
But also the ones that I didn't share, now I look back and it was harder to get out of. So balance is hard. And don't believe everything on social media. It's all just an illusion.
I know. I know. I could say so much about that. We don't have time though. Yes. And that's, try to share all different parts of my life. So people, I just don't want other people to feel like, oh, their life is so perfect. They never have anything. It's like, no, all of us have stuff. Yeah. It's how we navigate it, right? It's how we balance it. And he talks about finding your joy. What brings you joy outside of this, right? We know that this brings you joy. We know that your work brings you joy. But outside of that, what do you do for fun? Like, what do you like to do to just kind of unwind or decompress or just be Christiana? Like, what do you do? Tell me.
This is a great question. I ask my guests this all the time.
And do you? Oh, I need to watch more.
Yes.
I could have just took all the questions you usually ask and just ask you those, but no, I watch it.
No. It's interesting because I've even almost adopted some of the habits that my guests have.
Oh, sure.
And tried them.
Oh,
right.
Cool.
To
That's
see
cool.
what works for me. But what brings me joy is creating.
Well, first tell me what has someone told you that you tried to do where you said, I want to try it out?
Journaling.
Oh, okay. Oh,
journaling.
Yeah.
That was a big one. Reading your Bible.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Devotionals, right?
Sure.
Daily devotionals. Running.
Listen, honey, I wish, one day
I tried it.
One day I will get out there. I do a fake jog thing that's like really just walking.
Like a walk hop.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's not really running, but
it
makes me feel like I'm doing it. So,
I've tried a few of these things.
You tried it,
and you just got to find what fits for you and your lifestyle.
Yeah.
Running was not it. Journaling I kept.
Oh, cool.
Devotionals, I bought one, but I know that, there's a thing of self-awareness. I know that I don't thrive on a strict routine.
Sure. Things
got to get shaken up a little bit for me.
Yeah.
So the devotionals are a little harder, but what I did to bring me joy was, and some listeners might know this, is I actually went to a fine arts college. So by trade, I'm a painter and printmaker.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Okay.
So that's something that brings me joy, is creating. It might look a little different than it did, 3-4 years ago. I had an entire art studio.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I did not know that.
I had an art studio and gallery, and that was one of my first businesses that I created. And then once I had my kids, I had a studio in my basement where I would just create artwork, paintings, drawings, not so much printmaking. But now it's more or less being creative with my words. So I, as a news reporter, you have to be creative with your words. You got to say who, what, when, where, why in less than 35 seconds and, make that happen. But being creative with words. So the journaling aspect is turned into poem writing, storytelling with words. And so the way that I tried to play the piano, it did not work. But the way of, being creative turned from something visual to something audible that you can hear, right? So I like to think of it as, I originally was creating joy for the eyes, and now I'm moving to the space where I'm creating joy for your ears. And that's really been an outlet for me. I also just like to sit and watch TV.
Okay, so tell us, what is one? Because I'm a reality TV. I do watch some reality TV, right? It's like a guilty pleasure, right? Where people's lives are basically chaotic, and I, for some reason, enjoy it. I don't know why we watch these things, right? So tell me one that like a show that you watch that people will be surprised that you watch.
Oh, okay. One of my guilty pleasures is it's called How I Met Your Mother.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Talk about it. Okay.
I think it's so well written, and it's just one of those things that I'm honestly, my first year in college, I was on the west side of the state, and we were completely snowed in. Couldn't get home, just had to spend the holiday break in my little apartment. And I was like, what's on? And I can watch a whole lot of it. And that I watched every episode, all the seasons. And so now it's kind of one of those things that during my downtime, like, I'm just going to turn it on and, kind of just reflect a simpler time. Right.
Yes.
But yeah, I like to watch TV, and, and then again, here we go. Like, I just like to sit with the kids and, talk with them and work on things with them. They are very much little DIYers. They always keep me busy. They're young, right? They're 8 and 9.
Oh, wow.
So, they keep me busy. So between, writing, creating, a little bit of TV watching, but spending time with them, and then conversations with people, just bouncing ideas off of each other. It fills my cup.
Yeah, I love how you talked about creating the beautiful things for the ears, right? I like how you did that transition between, the visual arts, and then you go into for the ears. When you journaled, right?
Yeah.
Journaling, if done correctly, right, will reflect a lot of things within yourself, right? Where some things may come up, where you're like, oh, wow, I never even thought about that way. Have you ever maybe even had a conversation with someone, or in your journaling and reflection mode, come up with something where you said, I never thought of it that way. I never saw it that way, or some type of epiphany or, revelation.
Yeah. There, most recently there was, which is funny because you asked me the same question early on, and I'm still trying to think about that answer. You asked me like what kind of like inspired you to be who you are today, but as a child, and I don't have that answer. And I had wrote something down about inspiration and why does it need to be a person, right? Sometimes inspiration is a place. Sometimes inspiration is an act of doing something or not doing something. And that was the epiphany right there, the not doing something. So an inspiration can also, I'd like to think that I'm an optimistic person, but I can also see around the optimism and say, this is not all rainbows and sunshine here, right? So inspiration can also come from people who were toxic in our life.
Sure.
From places that did not feed us well, right? That just did not pour into us as it should. Can come from, unhealthy relationships, unhealthy work environments. Inspiration can come from that negative too. But the epiphany was that, right? We're always looking to say, oh, yes, that inspiration came from my grandmother, or, oh, my dad just really, he is the one who pushed me through it and was there cheering me along. But then we have the type of person who sees this person was not good in my life, and I do not want to amount to that, right? So being able to take inspiration from anything.
Sure.
I think one, it's important, but two, it was something that I had to think about. I wrote it down originally, And then I thought, but what if there's that, if not, right? That no, that negative, how can we turn that into a positive outcome?
Yeah, no, I love it. Yeah, because whenever I ask people about like inspiration, they always they do. Our brains are wired that way to think, oh, it must be something beautiful. But yes, I mean, I agree with you that it could be anything that kind of inspires us to be a better person, right? I mean, you see someone, I mean, right now with social media, we see everything. I mean, could you imagine growing up with social media? I mean, how old are you? How old are you? Am I allowed to ask that online?
Yeah, no,
people, some people get up.
You can ask me. I just got to think about it. Hold on. I am 36.
Okay, so you didn't grow up with social media, did you?
Not really. I mean, like at the end of high school, maybe a little bit.
Really?
But not
Okay, because
really.
I'm 46, so we're 10 years apart.
Yeah.
But I did not grow up with social media, right? I couldn't imagine growing up with social media and having everything exposed constantly, right? And it's this constant meter of comparison, right? That people love to subscribe to. And I'm like, I can't do that. That's exhausting. But with that said, you know, I think that, yeah, we do think that it has to be something this positive, beautiful, you know, ball of sunshine at this part. But no, some things can be somewhat negative, right? If we view it that way, or toxic, as you stated. Yeah. Did you want to add something to that?
Well, it's just the eye-opening being, you know, like I said, like you asked me, like, how do I have conversations with this entire spectrum of women?
Sure.
You know, and as a news reporter, like having conversations as an entire spectrum of people, right? The host on PBS, right? Like an entire conversation with, you know, this goes beyond me. This is much bigger than me. And I think it's the being able to open your eyes and your ears. I was asked by someone, there was a compliment, which is hard for me to receive. We'll talk about that later.
I'm gonna give you a bunch of them before I leave. So
they had said, how is it that you're so good at getting women to open up to you? And it was like a heartbeat. Like the answer was, because I listened to the space in between their words. How are they saying what they're saying? You know, being fully present in that conversation. And that's really what fuels it all. And if you take that trait and put that into the community as a human talking to another human.
Yes.
Then the possibilities of having your eyes open are absolutely endless. You know, the amount of, you know, love and positivity and empowerment that comes out of that. So she said, like, when I think about it expanding, and I was asked today, you know, what's next? And I'm like, I don't know, but it's going to be good. When you think about it in that way, and if we're listening to each other in those spaces in between, so much goodness can happen. And that fuels me and gets me excited.
No, I love it. I have just really enjoyed this. I have so many more questions, but we only have a certain amount of time. But it's been so nice getting to know you and just kind of learning more about you and what kind of keeps you going and inspires you, and it also helps balance you. I just want to ask you, what do you think is one thing that you would share or pass along to women in this area, right? People in the Great Lakes Bay region, what would you kind of share with them to kind of help them carry on? Feel inspired?
Okay. You know, this is my question. I would have to say it's in two parts. One is to never dim your light. Never dim your light. No matter what, no matter who, what, when, where, why. Never dim your light. It's yours to keep. And then that second thing is identify what that is and be comfortable that that light and what brings you joy can change throughout your chapters of life. So I think that, just be bright, never dim it, and keep going.
Keep showing up. I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I have enjoyed this. It has been wonderful. It has been fantastic. I am so thankful to be here. And can I close it out?
Go ahead. Let's do it.
So I am Erin Patrice of the Breaking Bread Village and the host today with Christiana Malacara of That's What She Said. Thank you so much for sharing yourself with us. Thank you so much for allowing me into your space. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Erin. I appreciate it.